Okay, we'll do this one and then see how long it takes to load and get some sleep. And then we'll get back to work on things tomorrow. Tomorrow I got a lot of hard work to do. I'm charging my batteries for my weed eaters and holy shit. Hold up. Oh no, sun. I thought it was water. For a minute I thought they were watering out there. I thought, oh no. I gotta get ahead of the yard. I gotta cut the yard tomorrow and charge my weed eater and cut out all the weeds. So I gotta get on that tomorrow. So we've been down for about a week with this virus. It's getting better. And I'm not melodramatic about anything. I go through what I've been going through and what I feel and how I feel. Not melodramatic at all. You know, I get up and down so much. So, you know, when you're in a town with military scientists and you're trying to help correct the military scientists and you try to help other people survive the hell and they try to make you look and feel inadequate, they make it very difficult. There's not really a lot of things you can do that look consistent or valid, you know, because they can manipulate narratives and make just anything like I told. Remember when Natalie, when I showed her the Rockefeller following my Facebook, and I said, look, Natalie, see, your dad's someone important. There's a Rockefeller following my Facebook. And she sits there and she goes, but, you know, does Andy Samberg know who you are? And I'm like, the Rockefeller family could give Andy Samberg rectal cancer and make it look like an act of God, Natalie. But does Andy Samberg know you are? So funny. But it just gives you a, you know, and when Will Smith thing on Facebook friended me and then they did the other thing, and it could have just been people here in town. I don't know. I don't care. Like what some of the kids did at Blake's, you know, and they thought they were being funny, and you're like, yeah, you know, it's very funny, but you know, I've taken on the people that give us the drug cartels without fear. You know, all those kids that fucked with me when I was at Blake's and did things that Jennifer Lopez friended you and all that and then laughed about it and all that. It's like, yeah, but you don't go online on social media and tell the pieces of shit that invent El Chapo to feel like superheroes. And El Chapo, you know where I live, and if you think you're man enough, come and walk up to me and tell me, you know, you know, they don't do that. And the kids, all the people that fucked around me, he ain't nothing, and all these super soldiers and shit, you know, like what happened with the drug dealer here in Tulsa. You know, I don't exaggerate, and I'm not a drama queen, okay? And you know, I get real tired of people that say I'm a hero, I am the great service, I protect our country and all that. I'm such a beautiful person, such a strong person. And I have to say it myself. Like me and Dad one time years ago when we talked about Muhammad Ali. You know, sometimes you got to be a self-promoter because no one else will promote you because they're all self-serving and they all want it to be all about them. And when you're the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer and no one else will stand up with you, you got to promote your own self. Because children need the Lord's Prayer. We don't need egotistical showmanship of a bunch of dick measuring contests, sorry ass motherfuckers, right? So it's very difficult to be me. I would say it's more difficult to be me than probably just about anybody on the planet. And you go, well, what about Mr. Head of the developmental network of the networks of the... All he had to do was stand up for the Lord's Prayer and he wouldn't have all this stress on his plate. Okay? We would be able to correct all the bad things and bad actors of artificial intelligence. Because the environment that causes the vulnerabilities through criminal activity would not be present in artificial technology networks. Oh, it doesn't take a neurosurgeon to figure that one out, fucking Tom and Jerry kids. Okay, so I could have with it too if it wasn't for you and you, that dog and you meddling kids, right? So you've got to understand how supremely intelligent the Messiah is to other human beings. When that one lady in Sierra Vista told me that from the Baha'i Temple, she goes, you got to admit that the Messiahs and the prophets are just a little bit better than the rest of us. And being the Messiah, you know, and not being aware of it, I'm like, no, that's not true. No, we're not a little bit better than the rest of us. And I didn't understand where they were coming from, what they were talking about. But I do believe that human beings, when nurtured and loved and treated with the dignity and respect we would deserve, can be as good as the Messiah. I do believe that. I believe when we do things right and we respect the beauty of the gift of our lives, that we can engage in the conditions on planet Earth where everybody on the planet can be as good as the Messiah. Okay. No more Ethan Hunts. No more Thors and Shazams. No more Batmans. No more Iron Mans. We don't even need Gumby, damn it. Okay. Because what do you need with a... I remember watching Gumby when I was a kid, and I thought, man, the 60s were good to these people. It looks like they did like some heavy drug tripping and then came up with this cartoon. And watch the early Gumby cartoons, it's like, okay, there was definitely some getting high there, and then coming up with the, hey, I got a great idea for a children's cartoon. Yeah, it was pretty weird. But yeah, no, you've seen the early Gumbies? Then they finally turned it into a claymation cartoon, But at first when it started, it's like, man, these motherfuckers was high, man. That's what I used to think when I first watched them. I was like, these motherfuckers were high, and then turned it into a money making gig, right? Earl, you funny. Yeah, I know. But but don't now y'all think you have the right to sit and judge me and analyze me and because none of y'all do. Okay. I have more of a right to judge and analyze you. But I would rather encourage you to stand up for the Lord's Prayer. Use your communication devices to do so. And then avoid all this crap on media, Hey, I gonna be deaf if y'all gonna kill us all. Okay, what's the difference between that or if you get hit crossing the street while you're high and the bus kills you? What's the difference of that or if a robot hunts you down and blows your head out from when you're not looking? What's the difference of that? Okay. So, you can sit around being scared. It's all going to nuclear warfare. When I talked to Jesus about that when I was a kid, The thought of it happening is horrible. I've had dreams about it, Being in a car and it happening, and you got your kids in the car, and here comes the wave of radiation, and you're trying with your hands to hold the window to not be melting, and all of you be melted by the fusion of it and stuff like that. So it's horrible. But if you're at the epicenter, it's going to be quick and it's going to be over with. And then you won't have to worry about being tortured by the military with chemical poisoning and Wi-Fi head fucking for 58 years. Okay. So why do you sit around and worry about nuclear being at the epicenter of a nuclear blast, or of drones coming to your house and exterminating you, or aliens sucking your brains out through a straw? They grave us and take us, and like old what's his face, Neil deGrasse Tyson. What if aliens get us and take us and harvest us for food? As long as they get it over with quick and don't torture us, we'll call it the Donner Party flying space restaurant. Earl, what? You see what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is, focus on living a truthful, intelligent, kind, and caring, faithful life. Then you won't have all these Stephen King types, creepy apocalyptic novelists trying to creep you out and keep themselves rich and famous off of creeping you out, Alfred Hitchcock Jr., right? Chucky's Bride. So, you guys got to understand that most of the things that you're afraid of are inventions in your mind that can be easily eliminated by standing up for the Lord's Prayer and not letting assholes invent conditions for you to be constantly terrified of horrible things always happening. I don't understand. It's like constantly living with the threat of, it's like being Dread Pirate Roberts, almost like, good night, Wesley, I'll most likely kill you in the morning, right? That's what it's like. And then you get this stuff, my family in the United States of America, and this is the greatest country ever. It's like, guys, you can go read the Bible. And the bowels of hell in the Bible are our hometown, where they threaten to blow everybody up with nuclear weapons if they can't fuck everybody in the head with propaganda for money. It's hell on earth. You live in hell on earth right now, and you vote for a president to tell you what to do, what you're going to tell you what they're going to do to you with the money every 4 years. And then if you like the asshole you put in there, you're content about it. And if you don't, you're unhappy, and I can't wait to put the asshole I'm content with, Like Jesus told me today about Barack Obama, and I compared it with Dad. I said, when two people are lying and you believe that lie, you accept the liar that makes you, that you more agree with than your lie. So if you sit there, if you've accepted lie, and your lie is more towards the left, then you accept Barack Obama and think he's a better liar than Donald Trump, and vice versa. So it's just what you do to tell yourself how to survive living in hell. Then when you accept the Lord's Prayer and nothing less, you're right, they're wrong. You're good, they're bad. And then you end up like me. And it'd be better to end up like me, all alone in this guest house, than it would be in an arena full of fans yelling, "We love you! We love you!" And you say, "I love you too! Thanks for giving me all this make-believe money so I feel so much better than you. Wow! God really loves me. I'm one of God's favorite children." What about the ranking on celebrity golfing? Do you really want to know? Okay, guys, I love you, all right? Peace out, man.